Man United 1, Sheffield United 0. Wayne Rooney converting a penalty after, injury time in the 90th plus third minute. So, yeah, I mean, like, there's really not an awful lot to say about this other than Manchester United. When you just look at the statistics of shots and shots on target, right? Manchester United had 11 shots, 2 on target. They were poor in that regard. But here's the other thing about this, right? We're talking about the magic of the FA Cup and everything else, right? You have to beat the teams that's in front of you. And if the team in front of you are defending resolutely, look, it's not going to be easy. Right? There are no givens in the FA Cup. There's no givens in football, full stop. But at the end of the day, and this is the most important thing, so to all the Manchester United fans that talk about, oh, it's so boring, I'd rather watch paint dry or watch grass grow, or both at the same time. I understand the frustration. I do. And even Paul Scholes, where he says, yeah, I'd be pretty, depressed playing for this team. Again, I understand the frustration. I do, I get it. Right? In many ways, I feel it. But here's the most important thing that you have to remember. It's a results business, right? How you get the result really isn't that important, okay? You could be swashbuckling, scoring goals on everybody, but you know what? If you happen to lose more games than you win, it doesn't make a difference. If you don't happen to have silverware at the end of the season, it doesn't make a difference. Like, what was one of Arsenal's biggest criticisms for that, 9-10 year period where they didn't win any trophies? We say, yeah, arguably Arsenal, one of the best clubs in the world, one of the best clubs in England, play beautiful football. But here's the thing, when it comes to the crunch, they don't win.
It's kind of like having a Ferrari with no engine. It's a bit pointless.
Pretty much. So what I say to everybody is this: while I appreciate all that, right, here's what I would prefer: that the team actually win. And in this case, they won. So you know what? To everybody who's upset about that, I'm like, let's really look at it. Yeah? This is a team that, let's be honest, is honestly struggling for form, right?
Yeah, but you basically put out, didn't you not basically put out a full strength squad?
I'm not saying that we didn't. You have to take these games seriously.
But that's got to be concerning. You not putting out a full strength squad, and it takes a 93rd minute penalty for you to squeak through at home against Sheffield United.
Listen, I didn't say anything about not being concerned.
Just asking the question is all.
No, I know you're asking the question. I'm just giving you the answer. I'm not saying I'm not concerned. Of course I'm concerned. Right? But at the end of the day, like I said to you, if the team in front of you happen to be defending resolutely, look, all you can do, right, is do your best to try and beat them. That's it. There's nothing more to it than that. It doesn't matter who goes out there, they still have to get the result. Right? And here's the thing, they actually got the result. There's no replay here. Right? So whether or not more opportunities should have been afforded to kids and everything else, no. Right? Let me tell you one of the reasons why the so-called close to full strength squad or full strength squad was put out there. You know why? Because they're lacking in confidence. They haven't got the form. So you know what you do? You stick with it to get the form, to get the confidence. And that's how you get there.
Well, we've got the same thing with Christian Benteke at the moment. And he was actually very unlucky not to score against Exeter. But, I mean, it's it's one of them ones. With that team that you lot put out against Sheffield United, you would expect... You would legitimately expect Sheffield United to get beaten like a dusty rug at spring cleaning, but it doesn't always happen that way in the FA Cup, and that's the interesting thing. But as said, with the money you guys have spent to assemble that squad, you should be doing it. So it's one of them. But Mike Harneman did have a question.
Here's the thing.
Mike Harneman did have a question for you. So Mike, do you want to jump in and ask your question?
Yeah, basically, I just want to ask Gezzie his reactions to those United fans that were heard cheering in the 70th minute because they actually had a shot on target. What do you say to them? What do you say about that?
I'm glad you asked that. Actually. I was going to reply to that.
Well, here's the thing. I say the same thing to them as I do to the fans that left early. I understand it. Right? I get it. It makes logical sense to me. Right? But here's the thing. I ask you this question in return, and I ask them the question at the same time. Is what's known as supporting your team? Is that actually going to do anything to aid the cause at the moment? those are the questions I ask in return, right? And I tell you what, the hypothetical, because I'll give you the answer. The answer is no. Right? It's as simple as either you get behind the team, yeah, or you know what? Actually, stay home, watch grass grow, watch paint dry. Yeah? If you're not in it and committed, you know what you can do? The door's that way. Get out. Literally, right? The team is one of the most well-supported teams in the world. If you don't want to be there, understand this. There are people all over the world that want to be there. Right? And I'd actually prefer that those people that want to be there are there. You know what you can do? Right? To all those fans, find another team to support. Honestly. Right? Maybe you can come back when the team starts to win things again. But for right now, while you're so unhappy, go and support another team.
But then if people are going to come back when you're winning stuff, then all you're going to get is glory hunting fans. And Man United, trust me, have got more than enough glory hunting fans.
Well, this is my thing. I'm not particularly worried about that personally. I'm just saying, if you don't like it now, you can leave.
Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. This club was always going to go through a difficult period. A difficult period was always coming. This is it right now. Right? It's all well and good that everybody's happy and smiling and joking and everything else when we're winning. Right? You know who I really rate to the fullest? The G-Man. You know why I rate the G-Man so hard? It's mostly because when Arsenal weren't winning anything, he still backed his team. He backed his team. Right? And that was what, a 9-10 year period of pain.
When you were making the jokes about capitulation, it's one of them was
no.
PT meet the team videos.
No, I wasn't joking. That actually happened.
It's one of them was memories of the PT video.
Go back and watch my Meet the Team video. It's on our YouTube channel, right?
This guy is cold blood.
Right, I wasn't joking. I was talking about what actually happened, and then predicting the future in that case, and then it actually happened. So it's like, look, I'm keeping it real with that. So I'm saying this: if the G-Man can go and support his team, stand by his team in those kinds of times over a period of 9 to 10 years, right? It's only been what, 2-3 seasons that it's paying for Manchester United at the moment. Like, look, if you don't have the stomach for it, get out. It's really that simple. If you're in, you're in. If you're out, see ya. And you know what? To me personally, don't even bother coming back.
If you're giving it up, get out. You just reminded me of that tune. Get out of my house. I'm a Mum Cause Arms house in the house. If you don't like the rules that we got in my house, then you know what you can do. You can get out the house.
Straight up. I'm keeping it that real. As I say, if you ain't got the stomach for it, you can leave now. Simple.
And you know Jesse's rules of being in the house. If you don't like the rules that Jesse lays down in the house, then you know you can get out the house. I hope it don't seem too harsh. I hope you don't take it to heart.
Simple.
But United are having hard times. I think you need to get out fast.
I'm not gonna overcomplicate it, right? So to all them fans, listen, you know what you could do? As a matter of fact, don't call us. Call 606. Complain over there.
You know where I thought you.
Here's the thing.
You know
I don't
want to
hear it.
I thought you were gonna go. Shut up. That's silliness as well.
And I'm not gonna entertain it, right? If you're a fan, you're in. That means through thick, through thin, through trophies and droughts, right? Like the G-Man. Like the G-Man, and that's why I got to salute him. I got to say, nah, you know what? For everything, I had to shake your hand because you went through some grief, right? You got mocked severely, right? No, he did. But here's the thing: his team's top of the league, looking down on my team. My team looking up at his team, being like, "Oh." So it's like that. No, it's like that. So I'm like, look, if you get that kind of courage and perseverance to stick through it, to get to the point where your team wins 2 FA Cups back to back and at the top of the league, where your team is looking up at his team, 9 points behind his team, like, oh.
Wait. Right. So I want to ask you, Jesse, to the Fickle fans who support the same club as you, would you like to say this?
Shut up! No! Yes! I've had enough of this crap!
Would you like to say that?
something to that effect, not with that choice of words, right? I'll just say, if you're gonna complain, do it over there, away from me, because I choose to believe.
Shut up. I ain't really got much of a clue who Stormzy is, but I know who Vince McMahon is, and he's one of the most quotable dudes out there. Shut up. But you know what? Like I've said before, it is a case of booing and that kind of thing is counterintuitive, and it always has been. I have always been of that belief, and I have always said it. Booing, leaving early is stupid. For me, leaving is stupid anyway, leaving early, because you paid 50, 60 quid for a ticket. Why are you leaving early? That's like buying, that's like bloody, that's like buying a hooker for an hour and only using her for 20 minutes. That's just pointless. It's one of them ones that you may as well have just not spent the money in the first place. Extreme analogy, that's all I could think of. Hey, leave it alone. Anyway, it's one of them ones.
You could have gone with something like, I don't know, buying the newest game out and not playing it, leaving it in the wrapping.
Hey, I'm talking so.
Shut up!
No, okay, I'm only kidding. No, but it is one of them ones. I always see it as really, really pointless. The booing thing, like I've said before, it's a case of booing, ironic cheers, and all that kind of crap. As I've said before, it's a case of like basically if someone's booing me and mocking me every time I do something, no matter how hard I'm trying, then why the hell am I going to want to try anymore? Why the hell am I going to do that? That's why I think that kind of stuff really is counterintuitive. Yeah, voice your opinion, but let's be realistic about it at the same time. The thing is, for me, it's a case of a lot of Man United fans only know Alec Ferguson as manager and only know that era. So, as I've said before, it's a case of they've only ever known winning the Premier League, winning the FA Cup, doing doubles. That's all they've ever known. So now this whole little transitional period is a shock, and a lot of those same Man United fans were the ones mocking Liverpool fans over the past few years for the same thing. So karma's a bi. You can finish that one, but that's the way I feel personally. But the fact of the matter is, it is one of them ones where it's one of them swings and roundabouts. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. Even the best marriage in the world doesn't last forever because someone has to die. So it's one of them ones. So.
Well, yeah, but just because of that don't mean you ain't married to them still. You're still married to them.
No, of course. But
so the death thing doesn't really.
No, but the fact of the matter is, it's like, well, it actually kind of does because marriage is sickness and in health. But then once you hit death, you are kind of free to explore other options. It must be said, legally at least. So.
I'm
just saying. I'm just purely saying it as an example. I'm not going. Jamie Bailey's joke. Jamie's like, what's with the cynical talk? I'm not going full CWO on this. I'm saying is just saying. Right?
I can't believe I'm going to do this on a football talk show, much less our football talk show, and it's really people for the people. But I'm going to defend marriage right now, right? To the point where I say this: just because your partner is deceased does not mean, right, that you're no longer married to them, and it does not mean that you have to go and explore these other options. You know what you can do? You can actually still remain faithful to your partner who's deceased. You can do that.
No, I didn't say you have to. I was just saying you're free to. So in theory, well, illegally anyway.
Yes.
No, it's true. But it's one of them ones. Fact of the matter is, hey, it's one of them was United squeaked through. I remember you've got us in a week, so let's just remember that. Been looking forward.
Well, look. End of the day, right? This is the thing I want to say about this. Yeah, overarching to everything else. Squeak through. kick the doors down, rip off the front of the house. Don't matter. We got through. And that's the most important thing, right? And I think people seem to forget that. Like I said, it's a results business. And they got the result that was required, right? Here's the thing. Sometimes we get so caught up in how we get there and the style and the fashion of all that we kind of forget where we're trying to get to, right? Sometimes it's not important how you get there. What is important most of the time is that actually you start, first and foremost, and number two, you get to what you said you want to get to. That's it. Everything else in the middle, not important. Right, you have to beat the team in front of you, and you know what? Actually, considering that we squeaked through, barely got through, scraped through, whatever other kind of adjectives you want to use, right? The bottom line is this: the team have to win, right? And the reason why this team have to win, it's not just because the fans have to be happy and everything else. You know what this really comes down to with Manchester United? Money. It comes down to money. Right? One of the reasons why there's so much talk about who may or may not replace Louis van Gaal. Money. Right? Even the sponsors, and I know we haven't really spoke about this, but even Manchester United's main sponsors, they're not happy.
Well, there's a bit more to be said on that, because at the end of the day, the sponsors, mate, a team's playing style is nothing to do with them. They need to care about is if Adidas had piped up and complained when David Moyes chipped 250 million off their New York Stock Exchange value, then fine, you can say what you want, because the amount of money chipped off their stock exchange value gives you every reason to be concerned. But just because of a playing style, Adidas' CEO, I'm not a Man United fan, never want to be, never will be. It's one of them their CEO can bugger off. In all honesty, the CEO of Adidas can bugger off, because at the end of the day, United's playing style has nothing to do with him, and if he wants to change it, throw your name in the hat to replace Louis van Gaal. Then otherwise, what Adidas' CEO needs to do is there we go. So it's one of them ones. That's the way I would look at it in regards to the whole Adidas CEO getting involved and jumping in his 2 cents. Sorry, Jesse, kind of interrupted you there, but carry on.
No, but the thing is, I'm inclined to agree with you. But at the same time, like I said, it all comes down to money. Therefore, the team needs to do well domestically, i.e., preferably win the league, i.e., preferably win a domestic cup, and do well on the continent, i.e., preferably get into the latter stages of the Champions League, because that's where the money is. It really is that simple. It's not an overly complicated equation, right? Because at the end of the day, when you factor in the fact that, the club is currently being floated on the stock market and, of course, has a ton of debt, that's where you're going to go and be able to go and counteract all of that, along with the massive commercial deals, like the one with Adidas, which is worth, 500-something million, right? Without that, it doesn't work. It's that simple.
No, but as you said earlier, it's a results game. So playing style means bugger all. It's a results game.
Yes, and you're right? Except in this case, when we're talking specifically about money, you're also wrong, right? So the reason why I say that is just because, here's the thing: if Adidas really aren't that happy with the playing style, right, they're not going to fund, right, some of the big transfers that Manchester United are going to want to make. Why? Because the guy in charge of the team currently isn't going to give them what they want, right? Here's the thing: basic business 101 here, yeah? Keep your customer happy. And you know how you keep your customer happy? Give them what they ask for. It's really not complicated. Right? So if you're not doing that, you can't expect to keep your customer happy. You can't expect to keep the stadium full. You can't expect to generate the revenue. And you can't expect to be an attractive outfit to other people who are looking to invest. It doesn't work. Which means at the end of the day, when you put all those factors together, you lose money. Like David Moyes did. Simple.
I hear that.
So yeah, to me it's a must-win game because of the money factor. So I hope that they do it, because at the end of the day, like I say, one of the major things that the powers that be will be looking at is, well, what happened with the money?
Is Vince Russo in charge of Man United? No, I'm only kidding. I watched this timeline of WCW 2000 recently, which is why as soon as you said powers that be, it was going to remind me of that. A Blue Wrestling reference. G-Man, you want to jump in on the FA Cup draw and any of the FA Cup results before we throw out to the Skypers?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'll just say I'm a bit dumbfounded by the route Gezzie took there with the whole money and power and situation with Man United and Adidas having any form of say in what Man United do. You get me? All they're paying is to have their name associated with the club. That's it, as far as I'm concerned. But anything above and beyond that, that's Man United's business. Nothing to do with Adidas. I know it's about business.
Okay, Kermit.
In simple football terms,
where's my Lipton?
It has nothing to do with Adidas at all. You get me? But that's my opinion. Arsenal Burnley, I think, as Mike said earlier on, it could potentially be a tricky tie. 2 reasons: fans, poor atmosphere, and the other reason being that, you know, the players, it's just dependent on their mentality. You know, this is after a Chelsea game, you know, a run of where we play Chelsea, and also just having played Liverpool at the same time. You know, what sort of team will we have at that time in place? Will Wenger be looking to heavily rotate for the next match? Because you've got to remember, we've got Barcelona coming up. We've got some other stiff tests coming up as well in the next couple of months. So, you know, we've got Leicester City coming up. It's that one for me is a real mentality-driven game. But obviously, it's good to hear players like Coquelin, you know, talking about their ambitions and wanting to win for a third time. So hopefully that is the driving force for the Arsenal players to at least, as Gezzie Fizzle was saying, get as far as through the competition, you know, with that desire to potentially win it 3 times in a row.
In terms of the cup matches, it's always you've got I mean, a cup run is always a nice little bonus, but it shouldn't be at the expense of your status in the league or getting promoted. So I mean, it's always important to have the priorities straight without disrespecting the cup at the same time, like certain teams have in the past. So, in
terms of the FA Cup draw itself, I think it gives more of the teams who are below the Championship a chance. I mean, teams like Oxford and Northampton, who, okay, they've got Chelsea, but it still, you know, brings something to light. And using your words, Liam, it's one of those ones, really, and that's copyright, sorry, but it's just, I see it as a way of bringing the FA Cup to light, because there's so many mismatches. I mean, as Gezzie was saying about Arsenal and Burnley, I don't see it being as close as people think. I mean, Sean Dyche is a good manager, but I just see Arsenal having too much on the day. But, I mean, that's the magic of the FA Cup. I mean, as I keep saying and reiterating, me being a Notts fan, we got knocked out by Salford City. So if everybody wants to rub that in, feel free. But that's the magic of the FA Cup. Anything can and will happen. And to finish this off, I would say that I would absolutely love a team from, like, the Championship to get to even to the semi-finals, because it would just make things a lot more interesting. I mean, going off very quickly on the Capital One Cup, wouldn't it be really, and no disrespect to you, Liam, but would it be really interesting to have a Stoke-Everton final? None of the big 6 teams in the final. It would draw more attention, and it would just make things more interesting. So why can't I cannot see it happening in the FA Cup, because the big teams. I want to throw a question out to all of you lot, and I really would love to hear your views on this. Do you think the FA Cup has the same sort of, you know, magic and vibe that it once had back in the day than it does now? Do you think people take it seriously? I mean, if I said to you and put you all on the spot, especially you, Liam, if I said to you, would you rather finish 4th in the league or win the FA Cup? Which one would you choose and why?
I would go 4th in the league just purely because of the Champions League and the money that comes with that. I think is more than winning the FA Cup. So and also it is one of them ones where everybody wants to be in the Champions League. That is where the elite sides are. So I would say that much. But the FA Cup for me, I do love the FA Cup. Stoke Everton in the capital, if that happens as a Capital One Cup final, would kind of be interesting, because on the PT at the Cup Finals video, we'd finally get to meet some Everton fans. So it'd be one of them, because we met Stoke fans back in 2011. So it's one of them ones. But the fact is, the FA Cup still, for me personally, has that luster. But football is a business, an extremely badly run one, but it's a business. So
but then, sorry to cut you off, Liam, but then what really frustrates me the most about this situation is the fact that if people throw out say a weakened side in the FA Cup, doesn't that devalue the competition? If you're, say, like, I don't know, Manchester United, I'm just picking off the top of my head, and you're playing a team like, with all due respect, say someone like Port Vale, and you play your second string side, isn't that a bit disrespectful to the actual cup? Because if it was me, and say obviously we're not in the cup, but say if we went away to somewhere like Arsenal, can you imagine a team like Notts County playing this second against, you know, one of the best teams in England? That would just be ripping them apart and just taking the mickey, so to speak. I think that, just to end my point really quickly, I do apologise, I think that more needs to be done to get the aura of the FA Cup back into, you know, society and, you know, civilization, because, I mean, people like yourself, Liam, it's great to see that people have still got the enthusiasm. I mean, die-hard fans like yourself and the PT family, that's what we want, more of that. But we need to keep encouraging people, as this show keeps doing, and I know for a fact it does, to keep encouraging people to not only support the competitions, but to help bring them to light and make people see that English football, no matter what people say, no matter what people criticise about it, it is still the best competition in the world. And I would be really, really happy to see a team somewhere from the Championship or even below that to win the cup and say, you know what, we're going to throw it at, you know, to everybody, and we're going to, you know, blow everything up and show everybody what it's all about, and that's the match of the FA Cup.
Bearing in mind when Wigan were when it was Man City Wigan, you know, 90% of people wanted Wigan to win it for that particular reason, but the fact is, the FA Cup will always have that prestige because it's the oldest cup competition, domestic cup competition in the world, because everybody still loves that third round weekend because of the upsets. Everybody still looks forward to FA Cup upsets whenever they come through, but also it's a case of, in terms of, sometimes it is a case of needs must, because you look at, I said, Liverpool, 11 injuries. We can literally field a whole team with who we've got injured, and that's not even embellishment, not rumor, not supposition. It's fact. So, and also you got to look at as well 3 games in 6 days as well. So rotation has to happen. It has to. I mean, when you lose 3-4 players from one match because of hamstring injuries, you have to rotate. You're literally forced into it. So sometimes it's not even out of choice. I mean, you look at Man United as well. It's a case of they're lacking form. So there's not much of a choice but for them to play their strongest team or near as damn it. So
I mean, sorry to cut you off, Liam, but the last question I want to ask you is that, yes, I mean, I can completely understand your point of view in regards to like all the injuries, etc., and, you know, rotate the squad. But do you think that footballing, you know, the footballing industry itself is more aligned to maybe the more money side of it, instead of saying, you know what, yes, I mean, you made a very good point, which I found really interesting about if I could choose between the Champions League and the FA Cup, and quite rightly, you would choose the Champions League. Do you think that maybe more should be done money-wise to like entice more people to win the FA Cup? Because if you compare the cups, the FA Cup and the Champions League, one's going to blow the other one out of the water, obviously, because of, you know, all the financial gain you get from it. So do you think that more, just to sum me up, do you think that more should be done to get people to incite the FA Cup money-wise, or do you think it should just stay the same and let people make their own minds up about how they view the competition?
Do you know what? I kind of like that question. I do like that. I do like that question. You know what? What we're gonna do, because of time, we're gonna keep that question because it's actually worth delving a bit deeper into. And the only bad thing is we haven't got the time to do it, and we don't want to. We wouldn't want to rush through it. And try and come up with something, but that's a very interesting question. You know what? Just because of time, because there's an interesting little conversation about replays and stuff in the Skype chat as well. So it's one of them ones. That's gonna be something that we're gonna, that's something that we're actually gonna tackle. That we're gonna tackle on a future show because I think it's worth giving. It's worth